Come on. I think so. All right, Katie. You ready? You ready for this? Oh, I gotta stretch it out. Okay. Look at that thing. All right, hey everybody. Welcome. It's Houston with a Problem. It's Friday. Fireworks are going all over the place today. Right off the bat, APE essentially got ruled illegal. The combination of APE and AMC cannot happen. And this is largely from Adam Aaron selling too many shares of APE to Antera, violating their own articles of corporation. And as a result, APE is going to zero. AMC just rocketed. I mean, it was up 80-something% last I looked. Oops. Adam Aaron really screwed the pooch on this one. He dropped the ball so hard. I don't see a way out for them right now. They're going to have to do a reverse split. They're going to have to do one. And then do a gigantic share offering and hopefully raise $5 billion, which would have been a lot easier doing that with the apes. But now ape seems to be... I don't know. But anyways, AMC itself is rocketing, APE is plummeting, and I don't really know where to go from there for them. It seems like not good. No me gusta on the AMC front. On the BBBYQ front, they submitted the outline for their plan of restructuring, and the outline of restructuring includes two categories. There's the debtors, and then there's the wind down debtors. So basically, they're saying the stores are going to keep, we're going to keep, and they're going to owe certain stuff. And the stores that we're going to close, those are going to be the wind down ones, and we're going to liquidate everything out of those stores. We're going to pay back. They had some stuff in their filings today showing how much to be expected in returns for various kinds of creditors. The secured creditors, the ones that have collateralized debt, the FILO and DIP facility guys, that's 6th Street, aka ICANN and Cohen. They get everything. Like they're going to get stuff. The uncollateralized, on non-secured debt, they're getting maybe 2.5% back, so probably nothing. And then there's a lot of fudsters right now publishing articles in Seeking Alpha and Market Watch and on Twitter, basically saying like, oh, all the shares are going to disappear. You guys are getting jack shit, and it's not true. In the article, they talk about bankruptcy rules 1125, which basically says when they emerge from bankruptcy, your shares are still in that company, whatever it may be, a new entity, the same entity, whatever. So we're gonna be able to maintain our ownership. And Bed Bath & Beyond is keeping over 300 stores. Their warehouse and distribution networks. Those are going to remain. So if you're going to keep 300 stores in your warehouse and distribution network, I think that signals that you're going to continue being a company. Maybe, perhaps. One would assume. So you'll see lots of people in there like, shareholders get nothing. That's because shareholders don't get any cash out of the liquidation. That cash from liquidation is going to creditors. We're not a creditor. So we just own the company. And what we'll have is a company that's making $10 to $15 million a day, debt free, and ready to do something else. And it seems we're going to get more info onto how the DIP facilities and FILO guys will tick off the debt. Are they going to accept payments, or are they just going to write it off in lieu of a chunk of ownership? And I'm leaning more towards the write-off and get a chunk of ownership, because then you get your nulls, your net operating loss. That's, why can't I think of that? So things are going to be interesting. Looks also like GME is getting a little pop by being in the same basket as AMC. Finger and Carvana didn't quite do what you need to do for these options to close and get some gamma. Finger got hammered down really hard. So I guess we'll look to August and see if it gets another little run up going. Yeah, so gotta chill out, wait for that, right, Cat? Cat agrees. He's got a scratchy butt, so he definitely agrees. He agrees anything as long as he scratches his butt. So this. Okay. I lost my spot already, and I'm at the very beginning. Leo B, yeehaw! Scott Paul in Houston. Can you explain secured and unsecured creditors? Secured creditors, they got collateralized debt, meaning if you owe them stuff and you can't pay, they get all of your stuff. Unsecured is like credit cards. You fail to pay your credit card, your credit card company goes, "Oh, I'm going to report you," and you go, let's take up on that one. And they can't really take your stuff from you. Car debt, that's collateralized. They own a deed to your or title to your car. When you finish paying it off, you get the title. But if you don't finish paying it off, they just take your car and sell it. Same thing with your house. Your house is collateralized debt. Like a credit card, store card, those are uncollateralized, meaning like if you use that card to purchase some clothes at a shop, you still own the clothes. They can't come in and be like, we technically own those clothes. You got to give them back. So in bankruptcy, collateralized debt generally is the debt you want to own versus the uncollateralized debt if it comes down to it, because the uncollateralized stuff, you don't get anything out of it. That's the big difference. Spaced Ghost Terps. Houston has officially had his Jim Cramer moment telling people to accumulate APE and sell AMC. Well, that was if they made it out of the bankruptcy. Well, not the bankruptcy, the court case. That's if it all worked together. But I also said Adam Aaron was a fucking moron for doing this. Sad Boy Incorporated, I'm still finalizing a deal with a specialty broker to buy $25,000 worth of 50-cent call leaps for 20 June 2025. I pray this deal goes through. Dude, that would give you control of a lot of shares for a long time. Get it. And if you successfully do it, please give us a little tutorial on how you did it. Mo asked for US. The judge denied the settlement, not the conversion, right? They did deny the settlement, but I think the terms, I have to look this up because I've only been able to skim everything. The terms is that she basically viewed APE as kind of illegal in general. I'm going to have to, I've spent so much time reading the Bed Bath & Beyond stuff, I haven't really had a chance to dive into the AMC thing yet. So, we'll see. Daphne, after seeing all the shit shows with options, I won't touch them. Javier, Houston, happy non-birthday, and check out the GME AMC possibly basket spike in after hours. Also, have you seen the Sirius XM might have a squeeze potential? Too many short sellers are hurting on it. Yeah, so Julio actually turned me on to that. He was mentioning it this week. I just wish I had enough to play with to get in. Ding, 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 ding. So many plays at once, but I don't. I can only do a couple at a time. Meow meow. So is Antara screwed by this decision? I'm pretty sure Antara's already sold off all their apes, or most of them. They actually sold off a bunch of apes and bought AMC shares with that. So they're probably they sold their apes for profit, bought AMC. You know, AMC is doubled. So I think they don't care. They're winning regardless on this one. And then they'll just probably short it right back down again and win on that side of it. Andrew Stewart, Houston, maybe a Charity Tuesday for WGA SAG. They are fighting a good fight. I will look into how to do that. I don't know if there's necessary charity. I know there's a food bank that's offering food to striking Writers Guild and SAG writers. I'll look into that. We'll see. Mo lava. Volcano. Yes, indeed. And Stuart Houston at the grocery store picking up stuff for chicken shawarma. Catch you later, buddy. Catch you later, Andrew Stewart. Ideas Matter 7707. Hi, Houston. AMC is running after hours. Can you speculate as to why? That's because the judge struck down the agreement for court case that they're being sued for. Keith Chapman, another docket just dropped. Which one on BBBYQ? Docket. Application shortened time related. Additionally proving adequacy, disclosure statement, blah, blah, blah. Proving ball, fine by debtor. I don't know what that means. Okay. Looking. Oh, there's so many things got dropped in here. Whew, I'm gonna have to wait for somebody else to read these hundreds and hundreds of pages of things. Some of them are really long. One just got dropped that's like 300 pages long, and I've not had a chance to go through it at all. I'm sure verbally we'll learn some stuff at the hearing on Monday. Is that 24th? Yeah, Monday. We'll hear some. Dan Harris, I'll be honest, I almost turned in to a little bitch today. Came within a hair of selling out BBYQ when it dropped over 30%. Thankfully, it stopped midstream. Yeah, a lot of the sale apparently is from European brokers. They're like, we're not going to hold this anymore. And they force sold everyone's shares all at once at several brokerages across Europe. And that's what drove it down to 27 cents and it bounced right back again. So hopefully some of you got some dips on that one. But yeah, that seems to be the reason why. Why, Tyler? Judge denied approval AMC shareholder settlement, denying shares to be converted from APE preferred shares into common stock. Yes. First name, last name, Houston. I have a sketch pad for PC. Don't use anymore. I can send you if you like. It's not fancy. It's more like a large trackpad with a pen. You look at the PC screen when drawing, etc. Let me know. Sure. Send it. Send it to the PO box. It'll be much better than my mouse drawing in paint. Maybe I could draw. Maybe I'll be able to draw on the screen. I don't know. I'll figure out how to use it. I'll thank you. I'll take it. Yeah. Dan Harris, I believe this will turn out to be a historic decision on my part. Thanks for your perspective. It makes a little difference. It makes a difference for many people, even though it isn't financial advice. Thank you. First name, last name, Houston. If you sent a hydrogen bomb or whatever is the most powerful bomb is to detonate on the moon's surface, would the explosion be powerful enough to send debris to Earth? I bet some debris could get to Earth. There's no atmosphere to slow it down. And you know, I bet debris from that explosion could reach escape velocity from the lunar surface. So escape velocity on the moon is like a fifth or a sixth of what is on Earth. So that's about 2 kilometers per second. Yeah, that explosion could easily send something more than 2 kilometers per second. I bet stuff could rain down from the moon as a result of that. Yeah. It may take a while because, you know, it goes boom and then you got 400,000 kilometers you got to travel. So I'm looking at 200-300 hours to get here. Not my name. Houston, happy birthday. I heard it was witching day, double, triple, quad. Why is this why GME spike after hours? Well, NASDAQ was resetting their basket. What they have right now is they have like 70% of the NASDAQ index is 5 tech stocks, and they're moving that down to 35%. And then they're making it so no other company can be more than about 4.5% of the index. And that's causing all sorts of weird problems. Also, AMC going pew is causing the ETF basket that they're in, which is with GME, to also pew, and probably several other stocks are tied in there as well. So that'd be my guess as to why GME is spiking after hours. Meow meow. The way I explain things, it's like the stock market is IKEA, and you're the guy who can understand the instructions. Yeah, let's put together this Fuglorm. You got your Allen wrench? Doobie-wah. This XM was denied, not the conversion. Ah. Bex Houston, happy birthday. Any updates on how things are going with No Labs? I haven't seen anything since they announced that they have their first prototypes built. They're looking to build 100 or more so they can do phase 3 human testing, human trials for FDA approval. They got hammered down hard. Then they had a spike today. Yeah, they're just sitting at around $1. Is right about where their share price is. They're just waiting to get enough of their devices built so that they can start doing human trials. And once they get those human trials done, everything's calibrated, I think they're good to go. ZW says hit that like button. Hit that like button. I'm afraid to say these things. Like, subscribe, tell your grandma. Become a member. Become one of the green named folks. Join the membership. Become a member of Houston of a Problem and help me spend my days reading all the messages you guys send me. I would greatly appreciate it. Not my name, Houston. You think it's weird big mass communication platforms are being effed with only a year or two after they played a big part in social movements, GME stuff, protests, Insta calls to action. Yeah, I think that's a large part of why some billionaires want to control these things, is to limit the ability of information spread. The problem is that because it's a unregulated internet, anyone can create the next app that can get big enough to start doing those things. So if they clamp down too hard on the mainstream ones, another one pops up, everyone moves to. So we learned that when Friendster gave way to MySpace, MySpace gave way to Facebook, Facebook gave way to Snapchat, Snapchat gave way to TikTok, and so on. Like, boom, boom, boom. They move. And the minute the thermocline of trust is broken, they all leave and move on to the next thing. And the next thing grows and grows and grows and grows, gets bought by conglomerates. They ruin everything and then moves on to the next one. It's a very, very fluid thing. Maybe we'll make a full circle and everyone will be back at Friendster someday. My experience with Friendster was hilarious because I joined it. I was like, what is this thing? I joined it. And almost immediately, all my pictures were stolen by these like scammers from the Philippines saying like I was their cousin. It was really weird. I was like, you are not my cousin. I don't know who you are. Oh, we do things together all the time. I still don't know who you are. Take my pictures down. Money over Mayo, I am Batman. Good to know. Online equity. Could the Fudsters be right about BBBYQ going to zero, or is it more likely they have PTSD after 2 years of stock market shenanigans? They're not right. It's not going to zero. When the company emerges from bankruptcy, restructured, we will have ownership in that company. They may change names. So we may exchange our stock for new stock, which would result in CUSIP changes and name changes and the whole thing. But we will still have ownership in whatever the entity is going to be. The ones saying that the stock is being canceled, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. They make clear in the document that was filed yesterday that I think it's 1125 or 1152, whatever the bankruptcy rule is, that the shareholders will still own the company. It's just will not be the same company. And there's the reset of the chat. Did I scroll down too far? First name, last name, Houston. One of my favorite sayings my boss says is, I have a good memory, but it's short. Or, you can wish in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. Got any faves of your own? There's a couple I like, and I may have talked about them before. One is, it is easy to pretend to be serious. It is impossible to pretend to be witty. What's another one? It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Katie, help me out here, man. There's another one that's on my mind that at the moment is totally escaping my mind. When it appears in my brain again, there's one more. There's at least one more in there. But I do like the one that is easy to pretend to be serious, is impossible to pretend to be witty. Oh, I remember what it is. A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. That one really struck a chord with me because I was like, yeah, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, you know what? Seeing somebody else fuck up and then learning from that is a lot better than just fucking up yourself. And I think Elon's problem with Twitter is that, and with SpaceX, is that he knows people have done these experiments in the past, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it again. And he does the exact same thing and it blows up in his face. And he goes, huh, that's weird. Yeah, because we have 70 years of data showing you that's what's going to happen. So you can just stand on the shoulders of those giants, look over everybody, and figure out where to go from there. You don't have to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again to learn your lesson. You can just read a book, and in it says, "Don't do this; it doesn't work." And you go, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna do something else." So yeah, smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Profound. Okay. Not my name. Like the public's one ability to shine bat signals on things is now all gone at once. I think I had a stroke reading that one. Michael O'Hara, do you think APE will go up with AMC? They may have to wait for another court ruling of some kind to have APE go up again. Because right now it's getting hammered. It's AMC's going that way. APE is going that way. Molava Houston. Volcano, 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 volcano. Hey, Molava. Oh, it's Anders. Hey, pal. If you could turn your life into a book or a film, which would you choose? Has to be one or the other? A book, I guess. I'm not sure how my life would turn into a film and be riveting. I think we could do it with a book. Pete, the court rejected the settlement, not the conversion, so the parties just need to hash out new terms, as I understand it. APE arbitrage is still on, but it's risky and could take a long time. Mike says APE is worthless. Or is APE worthless? That's a question mark. Seems to be getting more worthless as the day goes on, but if they pull out a settlement out of their butts to do a combination and reverse split, then the arbitrage is huge. What's APE doing right now? APE is... So give me better after hours on this app quicker. Ape rebound a little bit. It dropped all the way down to 81 cents. Bounced back to $1.45. So it really got driven down there. So somebody bought the dip and just made a killing. Nice job, I guess. But still down 19%. AMC made it up to $8.15. So it was up 85% at one point. It's sitting pretty at $7.80. So it's still up 77%. Yeah. So the graph for GME is matching AMC almost exactly, and that's probably basket related. Yeah, so now the arbitrage is quite large. Looks like you can get a 5x out of it if they do manage to be allowed to combine and do the split. I'm your friend. Aloha from Wahoo. So what the heck is covering closing and who's selling seems sketchy, or just straight buying pressure? I don't think it's either. I think it is. I don't think it's covering closing. I think it's more buying pressure. People are like, well, get rid of APE, trying to buy AMC. That's where the money's going to be, and them doing that. Probably a lot of it is driven by algorithms from market makers and hedge funds who are like, when we get this ruling, buy, and cause that price spike. Just Bodies. They also just released a disclosure statement that basically serves as explanation for their Chapter 11 plan. Yes. Oh, for Bed Bath & Beyond. Yes. Case Chapman. Damn, Houston, where are you at? I'm right here. Melinda, Hertz is a good example for Chapter 11 to compare. Yeah. Hertz filed very, very similar paperwork. It's very boilerplate, the language that's used. A lot of the terms they define, but still the way they order them, my brain reads it and goes, I don't know what you're saying. But the big takeaway I got is that Bed Bath & Beyond is going to have two main categories of their debt. There's the regular debtors, and then there's the wind down debtors. And the wind down debtors are the stores that are closing. They're going to liquidate. And then the regular debtors are the ones that are going to be emerging restructured. The unsecured debt is getting pretty much blown off. They get nothing. If the secured debtors get 100%, the unsecured guys will get maybe a little bit if over that. But even then, like they're saying secured get anywhere from 8% to 100% of their money back. And that's about it. Regardless, when it emerges, it's going to be a company still. And then they're just going to send off, 500 leases off into the ether, and let that also work out in the bankruptcy court as who's going to take on those leases. Kevin Turner, did you buy any BBBY bonds or Sears bonds? They're both still trading. I did not buy any BBBY bonds because all the worthwhile bonds for Bed Bath & Beyond are owned or controlled by those behind the dip facility and Philo's at 6th Street. They have them all. Yeah. Just Body says Tup went nuts today. What is Tup? So Tup, you guys can go do that. Tup stock. Tupperware brands. Oh, Tupperware. Tupperware is in bankruptcy, right? Aren't they in bankruptcy? I think they're also in bankruptcy. Because people don't do Tupperware parties anymore, and you can buy equivalent Glad stuff at the grocery store really cheap. Some from 67 cents. They all go to $1 before evening out in the 90-cent range. Okay. So, man. So Tupperware had been as high as $35 in 2020. It had really bottomed out. $1.76 March 27th, 2020. So right when everyone else in the market was dying, they were dying really hard too. But then everybody started staying at home, I guess. And that must have been great for Tupperware. And then all the way down. Interesting. So, far cry from where it was, that's for sure. Kitty, kill me, please. Off. have myself a peach ring and decide my life. Okay. We've reset. Where was I? Core Jones, UPS climbed higher today, still looking at puts. That's because I believe they have a meeting with the Teamsters scheduled for the 24th to discuss the contract and negotiate the contract. I'm sure our UPS drivers in the chat will let us know how those are going, because the Teamsters reps will come back to their local guys and let them know like what's being offered, and then they'll discuss whether they want to accept it or not and send it back or sign. And that's what we're waiting on. So not leaving much time for negotiations to really hammer down and nail what needs to happen. They're basically going to give themselves like 10 days to figure out how to get this contract done for 380,000 drivers and people working in the processing facilities. And you know, the airline pilots, the pilots have their own contract and they're fine, but they said they won't cross picket line and fly if everyone goes on strike. So that's not happening. And a lot of other shippers don't want to pick up, don't have the capacity to pick up UPS's orders. So their contracts. And also Yellow is going bankrupt. I don't know if you guys know about Yellow Trucking, Yellow Freight. They got picked apart by private equity over the past decade, and during COVID, were so bankrupt that they lobbied Trump to approve a U.S. Treasury stake in the company. So your tax dollars spent $700 million bailing out Yellow Freight, and we as taxpayers own almost 30% of the company, and we're going bankrupt. The company's going under. They just dissolved the pension fund for all the drivers. The drivers are freaking out. Yellow handles, I don't know, like 20% of all freight trucking across the U.S., and they're about to go belly up, and no one wants the contracts. Like, they're just trying to find other companies to take on the Yellow Freight's contracts, and the other companies are like, Yellow Freight wasn't charging enough. We definitely won't do it now. Like, that's not enough money to get this done. So, man, it's gonna be interesting if UPS strikes, Yellow Freight goes bankrupt and disappears, and what survives will be just probably bidding wars to try and get freight moved. Hazel A. Houston, was great seeing you on the PP show the other night. You were a hit. Oh, thank you. Dave Brooks. I like in hedge funds to shoplift in San Francisco, take what they want and nobody stops them. Yeah, and they take more. And shoplifters in San Francisco, they're taking, I don't know, several $100 worth of things. That's like 30 seconds for a hedge fund. 10 seconds, 5 seconds, probably per second. Dan Harris, where in the timeline does squeezing the shorts and BBBYQ fail? Q holders opportunity to sell before it becomes Teddy after a new company formed. I would think it would happen as a new company forms and they do a QSIP change for that new company. Basically, delete the existing shares and issue new shares to everybody who had them. That's probably when it will do it, because when that happens, that means the company loses the Q. They're merging. They're a $5 billion company with no debt. And perhaps they're part of a larger conglomerate based upon whoever controls these philo and dip facilities. It'll be interesting. So when it's likely to use its Q looks like now maybe not till November. The pain in the butt is trying to get these leases that they're closing the stores on a bunch of these leases, and they're trying to auction off the leases to other entities. And as a result, there's lots of like complaints because, you know, you've got a cleaning company and a HVAC maintenance guy and your Cintas contract for cleaning supplies and soaps in the bathroom and toilet paper and stuff. And so when you have a lease, you have a contract for all these other things that go with the lease. And so those guys are like, but I want my money. So they're doing objections to the auctions of sales for these leases simply because they want the lease to also include the contract for them to do their regular maintenance stuff and provide their services, because that's what their business depends upon. So looks like, you know, Burlington Coat Factory is going to have to maintain Cintas as the bathroom supplier for the stores that took over, things like that. Josh Dobbs, your thoughts on DRS change? Curious as to why it only seems to be a GME tribe that's so hard for it. I mean, I still don't see benefit of DRS. People say, oh, do DRS, all this stuff's going to happen, and none of that stuff has happened. We've DRS'd a huge portion of the float of GameStop, and all that's happened is the stock price is completely leveled out. That's all that's happened. Just does that and goes. We're not seeing the spikes in volatility that really hurt those hedge funds. I don't think people who sell naked actually care if it's DRS'd or not in the end. So it just seems like a pain and a way of spending money on shares that I already have. I got to spend more money to move them around. And Corey Jones, go Braves. Yeah, sure, go Braves. Why not? I'll be very excited when J.R. Ritchie is able to emerge next year with his new cadaver ligament in his elbow and is pitching 100 miles an hour. That'll be the stuff. Okay. Why did I lose my spot? No, there it is. Okay. Reduced Sugar Daddy 28. It's a good name. Is it illegal to instigate the UPS strikers against the company? I mean, if a whole bunch of people who have tons of puts are like strike, then you know. Let's put it this way. Whatever UPS offers you and you reject and go on strike, they're going to offer you something better. That's guaranteed. That's the only way to get you to stop striking. And UPS is like, we're going to train some non-union employees to do the job. Good fucking luck, UPS. Right? 380,000 people do that job. They're all members of the Teamsters Union. Everyone's complaining about how they can't find folks to work their jobs. Here in the Seattle area, we need 50,000 restaurant workers alone just to handle the volume at the restaurants. Everyone's overworked. So where are you going to find 380,000 people who are willing to be trained to do the job for less than your union workers in an economy where we don't have enough workers? Good luck, UPS, on that. Just hats off on that brilliant idea. It's not like we've got waves and waves and waves and waves of like willing workers getting visa approvals and stuff to come into this country and take those jobs, because they don't exist. So, and if they did, they're gonna have to learn to get their CDLs right. There's tons of work gonna have to go into that otherwise cannot happen. Oreo settlement got denied, not the conversion nor the split. Okay. All right, so the lawsuit continues. Danny Bernard, new doc 1439, request to shorten hearing sooner. Looks like the request for August 1st. Interesting stuff. That first page in court, that butthurt guy said no way they'll accept 8-1. Now it's filing. 1439 application to shorten time. Okay, let's click on that one. Yeah, we'll just do that and have ourselves a look. See, open. Not in that screen. This screen over here. Above caption, debtors in possession collectively, the debtors, by and through the undersigned counsel request the time period to notice a hearing on the debtor's motion for entry order conditionally approving the adequacy of the disclosure statement, approving the solicitation and notice procedures with respect to confirmation of the plan, approving the forms of ballots and notices in connection therewithin, scheduling a combined disclosure statement approval and plan confirmation hearing and certain dates and deadlines with respect thereto, and granting related relief and extending debtors exclusive periods to file Chapter 11 plan and solicit acceptances thereof pursuant to Section 1121 of the Bankruptcy Code, granting related relief, the motion as required by Federal Bankruptcy page 2002, be shortened pursuant to Fed Bankruptcy page 9906. Okay. Shortened time hearing is requested because, as more fully set forth in the motion, just over 3 months from the commencement of these Chapter 11 cases, the debtors propose a plan that reflects hard-fought, arm's-length negotiations with their key stakeholders. The plan, which coalesces critical support from UCC and the DIP lenders, contemplates the continued wind down of the debtors' estates, offering significant recovery for holders of claims against the debtors. The debtors believe that proceeding on shortened notice to approve the motion on a conditional basis, so they may commence solicitation, is in the best interest of the estates. Moreover, proceeding swiftly and expeditiously with the confirmation timeline contemplated in the motion will reduce administrative expense fees associated with prolonged stay in Chapter 11 and therefore maximize value for the estates. Debtors remain mindful of the expedited timeline of these Chapter 11 cases as mandated by the milestones agreed to in the final DIP order and the budget governing the funding of these cases. Failure to meet such milestones would constitute an event of default under the DIP facility, which would allow the DIP lenders to enforce remedies, including declaring all DIP obligations owing under the DIP documents to be immediately due payable, as more fully set forth in the final DIP order and the DIP documents. Debtors do not believe that any part will be prejudiced by the shortened notice for a hearing, as the court would only be conditionally approving the disclosure statement, and parties in interest will have the ability to object to final approval of the disclosure statement and confirmation of the plan at the combined hearing. Moreover, the debtors, the DIP lenders, and committee have come to an agreement regarding the terms of the disclosure statement, and the belief requested in the motion will therefore be fully consensual and unopposed with respect to the debtor's largest stakeholders. Lastly, the debtors previewed his application with the U.S. trustee, who has expressed support of the request set forth herein. So, debtors expect the request that the court hear a motion August 1st, 2023. All right. That's 2 Mondays away. It's Tuesdays. 2 Tuesdays away. Word. There you go. Going fast. Chris Taylor. Hi and happy Friday. I'm at about 23 with AMC. I'll consider it spike when it gets back to 23. Laughing and crying at the same time. Julio Perks. Scott Lumley, Houston. I became a member recently and was surprised to note that my golf game increased by 2 strokes. My penis got larger and all the blackberries in the field next to me died. Coincidence? That's what happens. But, can't guarantee it, but it's happened before. I didn't do any blackberry destruction today. I am so sore and tired. Tomorrow I'll do some. I need a day off from blackberries. So close to wiping them out in that part of the backyard. Just have a beautiful view into the fern forest under those maple trees, and unobscuring that giant cedar that's in the backyard. It's going to be beautiful. By the time I'm done, then the blackberries on the north side of the yard will have all their fruits out, and I'll eat them all, and then I'll murder them. Peter Udoka, Houston, any updates on MTLP? None that I know of. The CEO, I guess, sent an email out to somebody who asked him a question saying that they'll have some news in a couple weeks. Yeah. Christopher Bursall, do the opposite of what this guy is saying. Jesus Christ. Sure. Go for it. Whatever. I don't care, honestly. Or you can just do the opposite of what Christopher Bursall says. Let's see where that ends up. Peachy Sunday. Happy birthday, Houston. It's my birthday, too. Happy birthday, Peachy Sunday. Mick Batista. Will they be forced to close when new shares given out for a new company? Likely. I mean, imagine you short a company from $30, you short them at $25, you short them at $20, short them at $10, short them at $12, short them at $8, short them at $5, short them at $4, short them at $1.50, short them at 7 cents, right? And you're like, Mwah, I've shorted them so far, they've gone to bankruptcy. Yes. And the company emerges from bankruptcy with $5 billion a year in revenue and no debt. And that stock price climbs so that anything you shorted, say below $5, is now underwater. And you're going to have to cover for that. You have to either dump more cash into your margin, pump some crypto. I don't know what you're going to do it. And, excuse me, I'm a yawny boy today. You can figure something, or just going to get liquidated and have to buy back. It can be, it's very much squeeze territory if that's the case. Donut's AMC ruling is to deny the settlement. Now they have to go to agree on a new one. Pretty sure the conversion is still on, just not soon. Word. Dmitry Maximoff, you son of a gun. What a bargain shirt. What a banging shirt. Love it. It's a Hilo Hattie shirt. It's very much a something that Thomas Magnum would wear, I think. For sure. Roderick Appellanes? What's going to happen to APE on Monday now that AMC is going parabolic? Well, it looks like they both kind of evened out. They did their thing, and now they're just kind of evening out. And now we just wait. I think they did what they did. Those who had options for next week, you did very well. Will Carwile. Apparently, if you bought BBBYQ, you're screwed no matter what price you got them for. No. Stocks will still exist. It says so in the filing. The stock, you still have ownership in the company. You're just not getting any cash for liquidation, which is totally normal. You wouldn't expect to get cash for liquidation. The only way you get cash for liquidation is if the liquidation's so big that it pays off the collateralized debt, the uncollateralized debt, and there's money left over. But that's not what this plan is going for. It's basically saying uncollateralized or non-secured debt, you're fucked. Sorry, that's what happens. Collateralized debt, you get everything you want, and then we merge as a new company. Thief88, happy birthday. Would a stubbly Nick Offerman be a good casting choice to play you in Houston Wave biopic? I mean, I'd be honored. He is like 25 years older than me. So I would feel a little bit like, I don't know, maybe a little too old. But the most accurate person to play me would be Dylan Francis, hands down. Doesn't have too much in acting chops. He's done some funny little videos with his friends, but I'm sure he could pull it off. Oh, and then got to the triple intro portion. Moon, 44-hour train ride complete halfway through a 6-hour bus ride. Southern Oregon, PCT, I'm coming. Cost plus 13% after hours. Meme stocks basket still valid. Yeah, there's zero reason cost should be up 13%. That says to me the ETF went. Bah! So yeah, have fun on your hike there though, Moon. Finish up that PCT. Like Peach Ring have THC in it because it should. Nope, it has Safeway's brand corn syrup in it probably. Where's Baldo, Moon? I used to live in Medford, Oregon. It was beautiful out there. Medford is beautiful out there. It's also just full of meth heads. Holy smoke. Oh my gosh. Like, if I'm on my big trips with like mining equipment and stuff and I've got to stop off there, I literally need to have somebody stay with the truck because they will pick that thing clean in no time. It's just crazy. I remember one time I was in Medford and or Methford as they call it, at the In-N-Out Burger there, and we had parked the truck in the camping trailer and all his gear on it, and we're inside the truck for a few minutes to get things ready, and like the creepy dudes came to try and like pick stuff off the truck while we're sitting in it. I opened the door and they just scurried away. So when we ordered burgers, basically I had someone stay with the truck and I went and got everybody burgers. Just ballsy. Maui Sam, Tarstock, aloha, Room Wade, hello. XX, longtime follower, great job. What is your take on developing AMC situation and ruling share-wise of AMC in the BBBYQ scenario, now the official bankruptcy as of last night? Oh. BBYQ, they're going to reemerge as a company. They got a deal with their secured debtors. They're cool. They're just working through it. We'll hear more at the hearings as to what the exact plan is because we haven't seen that part yet. We've just seen sort of like the outline. Like, these are the rules for the plan, but the plan has not been submitted. Or if it has been submitted, it's redacted and we aren't seeing it. Developing part of AMC, I guess we're going to see is this going to go to trial, or will they come up with an agreement that the judge can rubber stamp and go, cool, I agree with this? We shall see. I think it'll be months and months and months and months and months still. Because, I mean, the last time they tried to do an agreement, the judge was like, you made me aware of too many squirrely things. I can't abide by his agreement. And then here we are with no agreement, which means they can't do anything until they either have an agreement or the judge has a trial and they get a ruling. I'm your friend. Aloha. Any news on Sears? None. Crispy 101, Houston knows costs popping after hours. That was just mentioned. So the basket's alive and well. Sam got some BBYQ. Good job. Crushed Orchid shareholders can vote to reject the plan, but if only one class of impaired classes rejects, they can override it in the disclosure. Word. Now Sam, they retired the board. Oh yeah, that's another thing, is that if the plan gets approval, the entire board of Bed Bath & Beyond gets fired, gets shit canned, and they put in an overseer. What's the exact term they use for that, Cat? What is the term they call them? An administrator, I think. So there'll be an administrator who works for the DIP facility and the Philo facility, and they will run the company until they emerge, in which case a new board presumably will be selected, and the company will carry on from there. So yeah, the board's losing their jobs. The board's probably like, whatever. It'll be interesting to see how they come out of it. Right? You little fat chunk of brick, Cat. Look at you. Just a little chunk. Just a beefy little cat. Yeah. Oh, you're so beefy. You're so beefy. Okay. Chris Orchid Kroll going to have a link to vote. Don't know. Chris Rhodes, what do you think about global supplier in Japan that can mass produce automotive quality 600 millimeter nanoweb? Never mind. I know you can't answer that. I can't. Chris Alves, looking at Ape, can we say AA Ron did in fact done fuck up? I mean, just if this was going to be the plan all along, why didn't he sell Ape when Ape was like $10 a share? Why did he sell it for below market at like 66 cents a share? If you want to raise money, pay off your debt. You sell it when the stock is going gangbusters, not when it's in the absolute toilet. And then you have all this weird collusion with Antera about the price and the reverse split and the merger and everything else. And I think I have cat hair in my mouth. Yeah. I just... the pounce. It's like when this fat piece of shit does a pounce. It just kind of lays there. This is the pounce. That's the pounce that's happening right now. Look at that. Look at that pounce. Just a blob on an ottoman. You should be CEO of AMC, Kitty. Yes, you should. Sigh. Just Buddy's cat being perfect still because I'm breathing, stressing me out. Well, he's sleeping hard. You want to do a goody boo? You know? You want to do a goody boo? Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. Show me that soft little belly. Oh, yes, let me rub it. Yeah. See? He's alive. Barely. Oh. Oh, you having a little cough? Oh, asthma cat. Asthma cat's going to do his dry heave. Right? Okay, there you go. Might need his drugs. Candy, KYP. Oh, changing your name. Hey, Candy, KYP. Maui Sam Tarstock. What does it cost a company to acquire a customer? How much for a loyal customer? What's it worth to have customers go from open to the moon? We have a big value. I don't know what that is reference to, but I don't know what the cost of that is. West party in Houston's yard? Sure. Get a bounce house, a slip and slide, and just do it like 4th of July. Awesome. It's a good formula. Kelly Reed, happy birthday. What is the Safe Banking Act? Well, let's look at it specifically. Safe Banking Act. Officially HR 1595, full title, Secure and Fair Enforcement Act, also referred to as the Safe Banking Act 2019, was proposed legislation regarding disposition of funds gained through the cannabis industry in the United States. So I think it's how to allow pot sellers to actually participate in the banking system. Because right now they can't under federal law. So here, our little pot shop, Paper and Leaf on Bainbridge, is owned by the drummer for Blues Traveler or something. They have to do everything in cash. And they're not allowed to bank. So that means they have to do all their tax paying in cash. They have to do all their employee payroll in cash. They just amount millions, tens of millions of dollars in cash every year. They have to do something with it, which creates a whole bunch of work for like mercenaries. They will take their armored trucks, like electrified door handles and machine gun turrets and stuff. Those look like regular Suburban, and they'll drive to a warehouse to pick up the pot. And then they'll drive to the pot shop where they get locked inside this little cage area where they'll take the pot out and they'll take millions of dollars in cash from the pot guys, put it in their trucks. And then they'll drive to some weird bank vault somewhere that's not an actual bank. It's just a basically like a warehouse with a giant vault inside, and they'll deposit their cash into that thing. And someone records a ledger, and they'll take some of the cash and they'll go to the warehouse where they do the payment. It's a pretty asinine system, and those guys get robbed a lot. Cash boxes at pot shops get robbed a lot. There's just a lot of cash. It'd be so much easier. People could like use their credit cards and Venmo and stuff, but because you don't have access to banking, you can't actually do those things. Everything has to be incredibly cash heavy, and which allows for a lot of, well, let's face it, skimming and money laundering and everything else. So the Safe Banking Act is a way to allow these state-sanctioned marijuana businesses to get to participate in the banks, and then the money can enter the system much more easily, reducing the need for a lot of very expensive security and better accounting probably in the end. So there you go. And there's the reset to the chat again. Jeez, my knees. Kelly Reed, Houston. Curve inverting, specifically the short-term yield curve. Does this mean we are in a creative destruction waiting to purge out? When you invert the yield curves as the short-term and long-term bonds, it's always preceded by a recession. And I know we had Yellen saying, the recession's not going to happen. But all I have to do is look at the real estate market to know that recession is going to hit so freaking hard. Julio sent me a great thing today talking about how these real estate investment trusts, the REITs, they're trying to get rid of their properties. They can't afford them, so they go to the bank like, hey, bank, why don't you take this office building from me? The bank's like, how about we don't take the office building for you and we restructure your debt? We'll make it so that, we'll add another 10 years to your mortgage, we'll reduce your interest rates, we'll do all those things, your payments will go down. And the real estate investment trust's like, no, we can't even afford that. Just take the building. And, I bet a roommate is downloading videos. One second, I'm turning into a pumpkin there. Ernest. Okay. Maybe I'll return as a human being here in a moment, rather than a gray blob with a somewhat pixelated red shirt. Being filmed by a potato. That's where we are. What were we talking about before I did this? Oh, the yield curve. Yeah, so the banks are desperately trying to figure out ways they can refinance everything and make it so that they don't have to take on this real estate. Because imagine, right? The banks have to take all these buildings, tons and tons and tons of buildings that they now have to figure out how to sell. Well, the value of those buildings are nothing, right? Zero. You try to sell an office building right now, no one wants to buy it because no one has the cash for it. No one has the customers who want to lease it. So there's no value in that building. So you'd much rather the investment trust keep it and pay a nominal fee because it's better than zero, better than taking a giant loss, and better than crashing the overall value of all the buildings everywhere to the point where no one wants to pay. I mean, if you bought a skyscraper in New York or Los Angeles or Seattle and you paid $500 million, $1 billion for it, and due to the glut of buildings for sale in the market, that building is now worth zero. What do? That means everything crashes. That means no one pays their mortgage. They're like, well, fuck this. This building's not worth anything. I'm underwater on it. I've got, 20 to 40% vacancy. I'm not making any money on this thing. Walk away. Going to be a big part of like the restructuring. I don't think is going to work out for a large portion of these real estate investment trusts. Just isn't, because they want out. They don't want an empty building. They don't want to pay any money towards empty building. Doesn't help them at all. Maui Sam, Tarstock, not advice, just dumb up country monkey ape thoughts. Jay Geyser, Dylan Francis' head isn't a bit giant enough. I don't know how big his head is. I think he's about my height. I'm going to have to go to one of his concerts one of these days. Just walk backstage because they'll think I'm him. And we'll get a picture next to each other. And we'll see exactly whose head is bigger. I do have a big head. That's the Irish part of my family. This thing just keeps growing. Like the hats I wore playing. Let's see here. Let's get. I'm gonna grab my Vikings hat, and I bet it's not gonna fit anymore. A little dusty. All right. This is my hat I wore with the Kufstein Vikings in 2002. It's a 7.5, decent sized head, and it was a little big on me. I had to put cotton balls in the front of the hat because it was pinch big on me. And oh no, here we go. It is a very tight hat. It fits on my head. That's very tight. So I've grown. Probably should have like a 7 3/4, maybe an 8 even, but that's a tight hat. Whew. How my Lewis and Clark hats fit? I think those ones don't fit either, but I can't wear that for very long. That'd be a headache inducer. Katie, did you hold down the fort while I was gone? Perfect. All right. Chris Alves, Medford versus Fresno Meth Wars. Stephen Latham, Houston, where are we? All the AMC market halts every 5 minutes. Are the market makers asleep in the after hours? There are no halts after hours. So it's only during the main part of the trading day do you have halts. You don't have halts after hours. It can do anything it wants after hours. Maui Sam misses In-N-Out Burger. I would fly chopper off Catalina to get some. Thanks for reminding me about them. We Wild, you're still awake? I enjoy the escapism of seeing all the shit that's happening in the U.S. So much shit. 2 shining lights, No Labs, and the new season of Tacoma Fire Department. By the way, HP. HP? I don't know. Yes, We Wild swears by Tacoma FD, which I'd love to see. I've not seen it yet because I love the Broken Lizard guys. They're the ones that did Super Troopers and Beer Fest and Club Dread and Slammin' Salmon. They're just hilarious. Stephen Latham. Surely they can't let any heavily shorted stock fund fair market value. No. My friend Hilo Hattie's closed on Oahu a few years ago. The shirt should go up in value. Yeah, the Hilo Hattie's and Hilo is closed. There's no Hilo's Hattie in Hilo anymore. It's gone. I don't know. Are there any Hilo Hattie locations whatsoever? They're just gone forever. Hilo Hattie's. Store Hawaii. So they do have some. Let's see here. Go back. Store locations. Okay. So there's apparently one Ala Moana Boulevard, Honolulu. There's an outlet in Maui, Whalers Village. What the heck are why? No, go away. I'm 96761. Where's that one? Kanapali? Is this? Where are you? Loihi, Oahu, Kailua. There's one in Kailua Kona. So the Hilo Hattie's in Hilo is gone, but there is one in Kailua Kona. I know exactly where that is. That's right across the street from what used to be the Oakley store. or across the walkway, I should say. So interesting. These have a lot of outlets. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shops left, and the one in Hilo. The one in Hilo is now like a mini mart. When I was there September a couple years ago, they had it was like a ramen place was inside what was the Hilo Hattie's. So Prince Coquito Plaza, there's a movie theater, giant parking lot. Then there was Hilo Hattie's, and the Hilo Hattie's is now like a ramen noodle place and a massage parlor and maybe a chiropractor or something. So, all right, I'll be honest, this is a very poorly made shirt. This is like you can kind of tell from the tailoring. It's just weird in the shoulders. The button's in the wrong spot. It's just a, but whatever. It's a Hawaiian shirt, so that's that. Num 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 num. Dmitry Maximoff, what's this here about you showing pee-pee on a show? Yeah, I dropped pee-pee on a show called the Pee-pee Show because that's what they asked for. Did that on Wednesday, so you can see all the pee-pee you want. Two new docs just dropped. Maui Sam, what? 2 new ones? I was just there. Where? Kroll restructuring. There are 2 more docs that just dropped. Notice of cancellation of hearing scheduled for July 24th. So July 24th one's canceled. Okay. So it must be the August 1st one. So we're not going to have a hearing on July 24th. We are now canceled. Right, meow. Canceled. Oh, I realize the cat's not fully in frame there. There we go. There's the cat. Objection to MPC LLC's objection to debtor's notice contract parties. Potentially assumed exclusive contracts, expired leases. I don't care about the expired leases at all. Shortened time. So there's got the shortened time one, and that counts the July 24th. So looks like August 1st is going to be our next big hearing. Okay, word. Stuff's happening all times. KYP Adam Aaron Pouncerite all over us. Yeah. Collective sigh of the entire country. Ravenstown, funny how APE dropped to 67 cents and after hours today, right at Antera's price. Adam Aaron probably sold them more, thus bounced back to $1.45. Probably. Crush Orchid Houston, can you share with us the page in the docket that says shares continue? Read shares nullified. Shares are not nullified. One sec. I will pull it up. There's a Reddit article that highlights it, so it'll be faster to find that than like the 9 million pages of that thing. Okay, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Right about here. Okay. This I'm just gonna go to the Reddit article because I'm trying to find it. I think all right. So docket 429 chapter 11 plan only for distribution of cash proceeds, which is not for shareholders, but has provision for BBYQ shares being exchanged for the shares of successor Teddy pursuant to chapter 11 U.S. Code 1125E while preserving Knowles wind down, wait for the shipping price, gouging claim, case outcome. Okay. So in it, they talk about distribution proceeds, basically saying shareholders aren't going to get any cash. You're not getting any cash from this, so don't even think you are. And then pursuant to section 1125E, the Bankruptcy Code, basically saying 1125E basically says you can maintain ownership. So person solicits acceptance, rejection of a plan in good faith and in compliance with the applicable provisions of this title or that participates in good faith and in compliance with the applicable provisions of this title in the offer, issuance, sale or purchase of security offered or sold under the plan of the debtor, of an affiliate participating in a joint plan with the debtor, or of a newly organized successor to the debtor under the plan, is not liable on account of such solicitation or participation for violation of any applicable law or rule or regulation governing solicitation, acceptance, rejection of a plan, offer, a plan or the offer, issuance, sale, purchase of securities. It's a really convoluted way of saying is if you do everything right in bankruptcy court and restructuring, you emerge still owning the company. And shares can be distributed to you as a new entity in the corporation as well. That's the long way of saying that. And so rather than like fully say in the document, like, hey, you're going to have shares in a new company, they just say, look at Rule 1125E. So you look at Rule 1125E, and there you go. So that's where it is. So in the document, it is, say what page? Page 60. So there you go. Vote solicited in good faith. Shabam. Where was I? Oh, that was Crushed Orchid. Cornsturks 2. Cornstir? Times 2? Hey, H, how you been? Just got in. What do we miss in the AMC settlement? There is no AMC settlement. So they're gonna have to renegotiate or go to trial, I think. Julio, tell Remy to pause download for Barbie. Yeah. The roommate and I watched Sisu last night. It was okay. I was expecting like a lot more gratuitous Nazis exploding. There were some, but I wanted more. I wanted at least twice as many Nazi deaths as there were in the movie. Just rack them up. It's like the only time in a movie you can see like total violence and be like, you know what? They're Nazis. They deserve it. Julianne need to turn all these empty office buildings into affordable housing. Yeah, they've done it in some places, and it's pretty terrible. They need to do it in a way that works. And having people amassed downtown areas is a good thing. All of a sudden, like grocery stores start showing up, and if you have a restaurant or a bar, like you're busy all the time, not just dependent upon like lunch hour for the business bros. Calgary did a great job of it. Calgary converted a whole bunch of their office space into housing. San Francisco's talking about it. Seattle's even talking about it. San Francisco has so many millions of square feet of office space that's just empty. Millions upon millions upon millions. They're at like 30% vacancy right now. So you want your city to be robust. Build houses. Lots of places for people to live. You don't want everyone in the suburbs trying to come into work every day. That just ruins the cities. Stupid interstates and crap. Just being annoying. Just live where you work. Don C. Shadem, hey, back from Spain and France. We did not find the Holy Grail. Well, that's a bummer. But I'm sure you had a great time. But it was hot as hell. So you guys didn't melt. That's good. Yeah. Tarzan call out to P at 85 years old. Many mahalos and aloha's, my friend. Maui Sam, you're doing it. Lahaina way. Oh, you're in Lahaina. Right on. Julio, Julianne, actually, they have been transforming them to affordable housing in New York already. They need to. Definitely. We wild. Houston. Sorry, I meant happy birthday. The P was a typo. Anyway, good night. By the time you'll be reading this, I'll be asleep, and thanks for the double intro. Made me so very happy. All right, wild. You have a good night. Now Sam, do you have some shares of BBYQ and will end up as Teddy shares or G-Merc shares maybe? Now Sam, don't know shit except good bud. Except good bud. Maui knows his buds. Jake Geiser, 50 caliber action. Rambo 3 was epic. Not Nazis though. Sisu ending better. Sisu ending was pretty funny. Oh man, Rambo just like liquidating people was Rambo 3, Rambo 4, the one where he's like retired and living in Thailand. That one was gruesome. Absolutely just like liquefied people. Yeah. Travis Dempsey, 15-minute cities will be created. Look into the WHO, WF, and UN looking to take everything over. I mean, the 15-minute city thing is basically a European city. It's great. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Being able to like leave your house and walk to the restaurant or the store or the dentist or the doctor's office or the pharmacy, it's pretty rad. Not having to like drive. I am a motorhead. I love cars. I love driving them. I love working on them. I love cool cars. I know that cars are not the future, that they are the destruction of our entire society, but I still like them. I go to Europe and I have an amazing time without a car. It's fantastic. It's okay to like exist without having to drive cars around. We did it for a long time. We did it for thousands of years. Having mass transit is a good thing. Being able to like hop on a train and end up somewhere else for pennies, fantastic. Even in the tiny little towns of Switzerland I go visit, you don't need a car. You can literally just hop. Your ski pass is your train ticket, and you can go to the grocery store, come back. It's fantastic. And these are little towns with just a few hundred people in them, and the train goes right through, and it's always full. There's people everywhere, but it's great. Just go spend some time somewhere where there's robust public transit, and you will of it. People are happier and healthier, getting around, doing just fine. You see the little old ladies dragging their little wheelie cart things around them back behind them from the grocery store or the market or wherever they are, the bodega. It's pretty good living. And you know, I live on a nice little piece of property. It's beautiful. I gotta drive everywhere. I mean, if I want to walk, I walk to a community store. It's like a little Jiffy Mart type place. It is 3 miles, 2.5 miles. So it'll take me half an hour or more to get there. 45 minutes to walk there. Give myself an ice cream bar. 45-minute walk back. Monkey Butt loves the long walk. It's, you know, the weather's great. It's fantastic. But if I gotta do anything else, I gotta drive. And because there's no buses, there's no trains. You gotta get in that car. And right now you're spending $5 something a gallon for gasoline. It's yeah. Chris Taylor, are you tracking the shenanigans about SEC proposal S73210RE or regarding swap reporting? I hear some in Congress are pushing back on transparency. Sounds sus to me. Show me the swaps, what you know, and think. Thanks. I have not seen S73210. S7-32-10. All right. Prohibition against fraud, manipulation, or deception in connection with security-based swaps. Prohibition against undue influence over chief compliance officers, position reporting of large security-based swap positions. Okay. Proposed rule. That's what we want to see. Securities and Exchange Commission, 17 CFR, blah, 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 blah. Summary. Securities and Exchange Commission is reproposing for comment and rule under the Securities Exchange Act 1934, which should be a new rule designed to prevent fraud, manipulation, deception in connection with affecting transactions in or inducing or attempting to induce the purchase or sale of any security-based swap. The rule is designed specifically to take into account the unique features of security-based swap and would explicitly reach misconduct in connection with the ongoing payment and deliveries that typically occur throughout the life of a securities-based swap. The Commission is also proposing a new rule which would make it unlawful for any officer, director, supervised person, or employee of a security-based swap dealer or major security-based swap participant, or any person acting under such person's direction, to directly or indirectly take any action to coerce, manipulate, mislead, or fraudulently influence the security-based swap dealers or major security-based swap participants' chief compliance officer (CCO) in the performance of their duties under federal securities law of the or the rules and regulations thereunder. Finally, the Commission is using its authority under the Exchange Act to propose for comment a new rule, which would require any person with security-based swap position that exceeds a certain threshold to promptly file with the Commission a schedule disclosing certain information related to its security-based swap position. Okay, so it sounds like when you do a swap, you're going to have to file it with the government. But I think it's good because there's a lot of swaps happening that we don't know about, especially swaps with these weird ETF baskets and failure to delivers and tons of money is owed for these things. So it sounds on the surface, that sounds kind of reasonable. Okay. Comment. Oh, there's a lot to this. Holy smokes. Okay, that's a lot of pages. Company analysis. Get 183 pages to get through. Yikes. Woof. Okay. Okay. Well, on this, without having to read this whole thing, on the surface, from what they described in the rule, I think all swaps should be visible. I think all short positions should be visible. I think you make every freaking trade visible. You show us, we should be able to look up a particular company on a particular date and see what it is they bought and sold. I think that should be available to everyone. And if they just swap something, I want to know what they swapped. I want if they swapped away. What debt did they swap away, and what did they receive in return? Travis Dempsey, I hear you, man, but this is called We Are Americans, and they plan to take our freedom. If you're not doing exactly what they want, say, you won't be able to get a bus ticket or train, etc. I mean, that seems a bit paranoid. If you want an economy is basically defined by a few things. It is the movement of people, information, goods. That's it. You move those things around, you have yourself an economy. If you hinder the movement of people, information, or goods, or services, I guess, as well, then you are going to destroy your economy. So if you want to do the social credit score, right? Oh, there's a person, a good person or a bad person. They didn't have a high enough social credit score, and you start limiting people's ability to move around, your economy crashes like that. Because anytime you limit the movement of these things, a lot of shitty economies are shitty economies because they have no infrastructure. Because that way they literally cannot move people, services, goods, information around because they've got dirt back roads and potholes and bandits and all sorts of things, and that limits their ability to have an economy. In the interest of the powers that be, you want people to be able to get around and spend money and move and do things because that's a good chunk of what an economy is. If you want an authoritarian state that crashes really hard because you economically can no longer perform, then you're going to start limiting people's ability to move around. But like in the United States, we have in our Constitution the free movement of people. So they can move around unless they're like under arrest and on probation or something. You can move around, and that's just the way it is. I'm not too worried that trying to make cities with less cars in them are going to somehow lead to like, I don't know, black booted stormtroopers beating down your door. It just means that like you have a grocery store you can walk to. That's it. It's pretty awesome. Terrence Dempsey, I understand what you're saying, but it's making everyone depend on government to survive. We already do depend on governments to survive. All of us depend on the government to survive. We cannot. Our entire society is based upon the government allowing us to survive. So, like the roads that move goods, people, services, information around, government, right? The schools that educate the workforce, government. The satellites that monitor traffic, weather, GPS locations, government. The police and fire departments that minimize damages and help reduce risk, government. Like the government exists entirely as a way to benefit society as a whole. It can be used as a weapon. We've seen government overreach and things, yes, but not having those stroads pushing through towns or wiping out entire neighborhoods, put in like 7-lane highways that just become clogged. There are better ways to build cities and to make the communities more whole than like giant building, huge parking lot, giant building, huge parking lot, giant building, huge parking lot. It doesn't provide much of a sense of community, man. It's I don't know. I'd much rather have urban centers where we can move around and be healthy than cookie cutter giant sprawl like Phoenix. It just goes on and on and on and on and on, and there's like no cohesive community. It's a weird invention that America made. Maui Sam trades laying down his hammock with his bud. It's the only way Maui Sam can trade without having a heart attack. Jay Geyser. Have a 70 GTO convertible clone since 88. Runs and drives 455 with a TKO 5 speed. Needs some body work and finishing. Hail damage recovery from in Colorado hail season 2018. Sick. Red Rocks from One Direction kid hailed out last night. I rent in Boulder County. Almost got burned out New Year's Eve 2021-22. A crazy high winds, fire, crazy Colorado River. Weather. Yeah, I had friends who lived in the suburbs of Boulder. Were on vacation in Disney World when that fire ripped through, and when they got back, like their neighbors had all burned down and their house was standing. But like everyone around them had burned down. They were like, why was our house spared? We're the only ones that didn't have our pets were in a kennel. Like, man, those fires were gnarly. Okay. Danny Bernard, most insane space call going on BBBYQ. Every show calling in has the same narrative exposed, either shorting, misunderstanding what's going on, or used to be in and now bitter. Yeah, it's in the filing, the 14, was it 29 or whatever, 39? There's a giant list of glossary. It's like 30 pages long of just glossary terms. And if they use a word, you can go look it up and see exactly what they mean by it. And it seems like they just don't know what words mean. So, all right. Sparkle, new drinking game. One try every time he uses his intro button during live. I only hit the intro button once. It's when I forget to hit it again that it stays on. Nah, man, I mean, food rations. Well, I mean, food security is going to be an issue regardless of whether we've got 15-minute cities or not. We have the world's breadbasket, where a healthy amount of the grains grown, which is Ukraine, Russia, may not be able to export their food because they can't come to an agreement to allow shipping through the Bosphorus right now. And if that's the case, then Africa starves. Food prices go through the roof because grain is the largest staple of people's diet around the world. And which I find interesting because the largest international support Russia has is from African nations, and Putin's basically going to starve them. We've got heat waves, wet bulb heat waves that are passing through and lasting for way too long. It's killing off everything. Kills off people, crops, animals. We've got water temperatures off of the coast of Florida right now that are 98 degrees. It's just going to cook the fish in the ocean. The coral's going to die. All the fish are going to die. There goes your fish stocks. So seafood, gone. No more seafood. Seafood disappears, then you have no more shorebird. Shorebirds disappear. You have no more like hawks. Hawks disappear. Like, we're going to have a giant collapse of our food chain. And a 15-minute city is not going to affect one way or the other whether that food gets to us. It's the fact that we are cooking our planet in a way that the food just isn't going to survive. Bees are dying, so food's not going to get pollinated. Trees are catching on fire. Fruits are burning on the vines from excessive heat waves. We're wasting our water on things like hazelnuts and pistachios and almonds in desert climates in the U.S. You know, the almond farms in California and Arizona use like 10 times the amount of water that other crops use. They're super water intensive. But if they don't grow those crops, they'll lose their share of water allocated from the river. So we've got some real backwards laws that are going to result in food insecurity across the board. We're going to dust bowl again in the Midwest. We're draining the aquifer like crazy. And eventually they're going to turn on the taps to irrigate the fields, and it's just dust is going to come out, and it's going to desertify that entire region. It's going to be like 1934 all over again. We'll have just crazy heat waves in the middle of the country due to the fact that there's no water moisture to cool anything off. It's we're in the middle of what's probably the apocalypse, or at least a healthy downfall of society. And we need to figure out ways to reduce our carbon footprint, and we're not going to do that unless we have ways of generating enough electricity to keep our lifestyles the way they are. Because we like having our ring lights and our computers and our fans on and everything else. And if like saving the planet means we don't have those things, and we're like, fuck that. So we need to go mine the moon like 15 years ago, start producing helium-3, make fusion reactors all over the planet, and just get rid of oil. Or at least save oil for important plastics that we make or something, and have a way to recycle them. Yeah. Okay. Gary Del Vecchio, and that is why the government is really backed by all the roads, buildings, land, etc. they own. Yeah. I mean, you guys ever play SimCity back in the day? I'm talking original SimCity, the like 2D looking down on things. You would build infrastructure, and you could select a category to show you the value of the land as a result, and wherever you built your roads and your trains, the value of the land ended up becoming insane because they were so important in getting people and goods through your city. There's a huge amount of value in those things. And why do you think General Motors and Firestone got busted, violated antitrust, because they were buying up all the private rail, even public rail in places, and just paving it over and turning it into roads? You used to be able to go from Boston, Massachusetts to Chicago on nothing but streetcars. You take a streetcar from like Boston to Providence, Providence to Hartford, Hartford to New York, New York to, I don't know, fucking know, Scranton Scranton to Lehigh Valley to Philadelphia to, you just work your way across the entire country from Boston to Chicago doing nothing but streetcars. That would have been such a cool trip. I watched this lady last year who they made every bus in England £2, no matter where you're going. And so she took a bus ride basically from the very south of England all the way to Scotland. Nothing but $2 bus rides across the entire country. Or £2 bus rides. That's rad. That's a cool trip. I would love to do that. But we allowed private corporations, basically private equity, to just fuck us every single solitary time. They screwed us over on everything. Take something nice and wonderful, they will come in, piecemeal it apart, destroy it, and disperse it to the winds, and we go, oh, that was a bummer. Like, we need to have laws in this nation that basically makes, unnecessary purposeful destruction of things illegal. Like, you shouldn't be able to just purchase a company specifically to pull it apart and be like, ninja dust. And we do that to everything. We have these antitrust laws, and then we go, oh, you guys get away with this time. I mean, SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, collapses, and the buyer that comes in is JP Morgan. JP Morgan is in violation of antitrust regulations because they're not allowed to purchase any more banks. They're already 10% of all the entire banking market in the U.S. But what does the government do? All right, maybe this one time. Right? No. Take JP Morgan, break JP Morgan into 1,000 banks. Shatter them. Not a useless destruction. It's removing their thumb from the scale so that no one entity can have as much power as them. They should not be able to have that kind of power. Because what do they do with that power? They destroy. Just stop it. Okay. I feel more rants coming on. All right. Max Meadows, new viewer here, loving the stream so far. I'm invested in BBBYQ. I just wanted to hear your thoughts and predictions in the near future. I think we'll see a plan, like an actual plan, get posted at some point. I don't know how much of it will be redacted. But my guess is we'll see a plan get posted. There'll be the hearing on the 1st, which is a Tuesday. And we'll discuss that hearing. We'll know more about how they plan to leave bankruptcy. And my guess is it's going to be some sort of deal about wiping out debt, taking equity in the company, and so on, and then emerging from there. That's what I'm putting my money on at the moment. Belgian Whales here. Hello, Belgian Whale. I lost my spot. I'm always losing my spot. There we go. All right. Dog Mom's here. Hello. I did speak about AMC at the very beginning of the show. Julianne, we need to go underground, build hydroponic grow operations for food, use solar wind power to run pumps and lights. We would use way less water, be way more safe. I personally think that if you're going to do new construction in this country, every roof should be solar. We have, I wonder how many square feet of roofs we have. All right. $8 billion square meters of roofs in the U.S. 8 billion square meters. That would produce 1.4 terawatts of electricity. That's as of 2018, and they made solar panels twice as efficient since 2018. So let's say 3 terawatts energy consumption in the U.S. So, that's I should do electricity consumption. Electricity consumption. Okay, so that would do almost all of our energy production. We do 4 trillion kilowatts, and we have enough roof space to do basically 3 trillion kilowatts of energy production. So we could convert 75% of all of our energy production in the U.S. to solar roofs just by putting solar panels on every roof that exists. You wouldn't have to have these giant solar fields where you mow down trees and destroy habitat to have a whole bunch of solar panels. You just put them on the roofs that already exist. You can cover your highways. You can cover your bridges with them. Yeah, so let's do that. Why not? Because the power companies are like, we don't want to. We don't make any money that way. Tough shit. Who cares? You aren't as important as the rest of society, so who cares? Okay. Jay Geyser, bioengineered plastic eating microbes instead of just cleaning out landfills eats plastic. Cars worse than rust does steel. Yeah, bioengineered those things that eat plastic. Awesome. We should like fill the oceans with them. We also should like take a lot of the plastic we have and just convert it back into oil and stuff it into the ground. Just melt it down and inject it back into where the old oil wells were. Hi, monkey. How are you? Oh, is it time? Are you looking at me because it's time? Is that what you're saying? If I just reach back and I go like this, is that what you want? All right. Some more Michael mystery food for you, huh? There's one. I put another little chunk there. Oh boy, look at that tail wag. It's a happy dog. Happy dog right out of frame. No one can see you. But they'll be able to see you now. Come get it. Yeah, boy. Woohoo! Yay! Another one? Another a tall one? Oh, come on. Reach for it. Come on. Yeah, was that good? Okay, and the Jaws cam. Okay. Was that good? Was that delicious? All right. Great Vecchio, all houses should be solar self-sufficient. Tough in the Northeast, but maybe large roofs over small houses. Exactly. I mean, not everybody's going to have Sunbelt homes that get direct sunshine. I live in Seattle. It's cloudy half the year. The other half of the year, it's wonderful outside. But we should have just solar panels everywhere. Should have them on the cars. Should have them on the carport. Should have them on the roofs, the parking lots. We should have them on top of the grocery store and the mall, shopping mall, and the movie theater and the office buildings. Make the windows the photovoltaic windows you can see through and still just passively take a little bit of light and eat it up into electricity. Just put them everywhere, and we won't need to have coal fire plants. And yeah. Julianne, I agree, Houston. And power companies should be forced to buy excess energy like they do in Germany. Yeah, they have to in Washington. If I were to put solar panels on this roof, they would have to buy the excess energy from me, and it would pay for itself in no time. If I were to put a windmill on my property, they have to buy the excess energy from me. But there's states that have had lobbying efforts done, like Florida, which can make it illegal. Like you cannot sell the excess energy to the power company, and they aren't required to buy it from you. Meanwhile, Florida has more sunshine than we do here. It's silly. Absolutely silly. Dmitry Maximov, I love your show. Wish you had a podcast or did this more often. Maybe after MOAS, I can pay you to do it from anywhere in the world. you want, I'll pay for your travel, do the show. I'd love to travel and do a show. I'd love to just do a travel show in general, but startup costs of that are significant. We're gonna do some filming. We're gonna do some geology videos, probably in September, here in Washington, and then we're waiting for if we get the grant money or not. I need to check in with Marius to see how he's doing. Waiting for some of our grant proposals to be accepted. In that case, we're gonna go film a little bit in Europe, in Germany and Mallorca, most likely. So we're hoping to do that this fall, but we're not gonna hear back from the grants until this fall. So it looks like maybe springtime. Go film there and talk about some geological wonders and historical places and just cool things to see in these tiny little towns you never heard of. So it should be fun. Okay. Jay Geyser, solo over roads, parking lots would keep plowing to a minimum too. Truth. Gary DeVecchio, my dog's ears went up. I have to give him a treat. Oh, from the crinkly sounds? Look at this happy monkey going to a food coma behind me here. Aaron Salentine, Houston. Have you ever heard of the town in West Virginia that asked the Soviet Union for help to fix a bridge back in the 1970s, 80s? I was reading about that, and it's an extremely smart move. And it forced the U.S. government to fix the bridge. Why don't we do that now? If a little town needs help, why don't we just ask for foreign aid? That's actually pretty brilliant. Right? Like, our government won't do it. Communist Russia, can you do it for us? And they'll be like, gladly, comrade. It will stick it to man. Yeah. We'll get a little competition. A little competition between the governments there. Gary DeVecchio, I'm in Connecticut, and it's still not cost effective to put solar panels on my roof, but I may do the barn, and that will cover the grow room. J-Dog, how many desalination plants would it take to provide enough fresh water for agriculture and propulsion? I don't know. Largest desalination plant. 10 largest desalination plants looks like Saudi Arabia. They do UAE. Saudi Arabia and UAE can do about 1 million cubic meters a day. So that is cubic meter. It's like 27 cubic feet. Cubic foot is 10 gallons. How many gallons a cubic foot? Seven, almost 8 gallons a cubic foot. So that's 8 times 27. So that's like 240 gallons. So that's about 240 million gallons a day of the largest desalination plants. Okay. So the largest desalination plants that are in like Saudi Arabia and UAE can do about 240 million gallons a day. That's a lot. I mean, the fresh water on the Big Island is about 700 million gallons a day, and that can supply a population of 15 million. So 240 million, 250 million, that can do about 5 million people. And I don't know how much energy does the desalination plant? How much energy does desalination plant use? Okay. High pressure system used to desalinate water requires a high amount of energy to do so. Billions of gallons of water are forced through the pressure treatments, consuming an average of 10 to 13 kilowatt hours every 30,000 gallons. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they make the pressure is about 800 to 1,000 pounds per square inch. That's a lot of energy going to that. So it takes about 10 kilowatts to produce 1 cubic meter. So you're looking at 10,000 watts for around 7 gallons of water. Okay, that's a lot of energy. So you're going to need a lot of solar panels to make sure that can happen. Theoretically, you should be able to make a plant that can do 0.86 kilowatts to do 1 cubic meter. Huh. Theoretically. They've not gotten there yet. All right, well, I don't know how much we're going to need, but it's going to be in like the tens of billions of cubic meters probably to get that done. Travis Dempsey, look up Houston. Biden and company are pushing to block the sun. Prove me wrong. Well, I mean, there's lots of proposals to limit the amount of sunlight coming to the Earth because we're warming up too much because of the greenhouse gases we have. I'd prefer if we just sucked the greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere and did that instead. I don't think putting sulfides into the air is a good plan because those end up blocked out the sun for a little while, but then ends up breaking down into sulfuric acid, and then that produces rain that destroys everything. So I don't think we should worry about blocking out the sun. I think we should worry about sucking CO2 from the atmosphere. Here's something, Houston. I saw an article today that more companies are issuing investigations in their stocks about naked market, and we have a market all out short squeeze. Oh, we have all out market short squeeze. Yeah. Dan Harris, in addition to solar, take a look at this company, Water Energy Technologies Incorporated. Take a look at them. I'm also right at the end of my show here. Great BBBYQ, desalination will save California. It's a matter of time. Right after hell freezes over, in 2045, it could take a few years. The company in Israel has a solar desalination plant. That's probably going to be the key, is to have solar desalination plants to do it, because you can't just be burning more CO2 to create the energy for the things. You have to end the cycle somewhere. Tristan Cates, Houston, you're going to have Ham Short Killer on your show. Hope Finger bounces back. I should have sold at $7. Oh well. Yeah, sell and consolidate and get more. That's what I should have done as well. I'll reach out to Ham, see if have him on the show. He can go through the whole spiel for us. All right, I gotta go. I want to thank everybody for joining. I'm sure we'll see a whole bunch of documents get filed over the weekend, and as far as BBBY is concerned, it'll give us lots to talk about on Monday. Right, monkey? Right? You happy dog. So until then, I'll see everybody later. I want you guys to have a great day, great weekend, and I'll catch up with you folks later. That work? Yeah. One intro. Outro. Who's your puppy dog? Your puppy dog. You're a puppy dog. Use your word.